Hi, beautifully, divinely connected soul. Thank you for joining me, Mystic Mia, here on A Moment Tarot for this monthly reading. It's intuitive. Sorry, my kitten just had to come on right as I started. Okay, so we're going to do 5 main energies, and these I intuited, but I'm going to use methods to kind of look at how this will specifically align with you. So the first energy is witchy intent manifesting. But they're kind of annoyances. So there is an agenda to bring more like witchcraft to being more mainstream. And although I am not a fan of witches because I feel like most of them are noobs and they don't know what they're doing, and then they're opening up portals and opening up themselves to be possessed and to bring through energies that are nefarious without their knowing. But, you know, once you start your spiritual journey, you kind of get confronted with a lot of demons, whether they're inner demons or external. They all kind of work together anyway. It doesn't matter how you see reality. It kind of works to your soul's growth anyway. But I remember when I used to meditate, when I started my spiritual journey, if I ever drank like the day before I meditated, I would see some crazy like demons and stuff pop up. And so it was kind of like a learning experience. So like I'm like, although I used to not like witches because they're noobs, they don't know what they're doing. Like that's kind of the process you have to go to kind of figure out what actually to do if you're confronted with a really dark negative force. And like thank goodness there are people out there, and I have that highest amount of respect for those that actually put in the time and effort to fight the unseen forces that so many people do not believe or forgot about. But yeah, I do think nowadays that everything has an equal and opposite force. Therefore, like every time there's like a really, really evil, like I want to rule the world kind of bad guy out there, there's like a superhero born as well, you know? So there's always like an equal and opposite force. So I think, you know, I do think there's good witches, and I think the fundamental aspect of that paganism is like really, really beautiful. But I think it's been kind of like everything good, been tortured and manipulated to work for someone's agenda, or like a lot of different people's like agenda that don't necessarily want the best for the collective. Okay, so that's my take on it. But in recent years, there's been a lot of people who've been kind of not knowing what they do, practice this kind of stuff, and they don't have the highest intent. The thing about spirituality is that the people who have the highest intent, that are the closest to the divine, the closest to source energy, the creator, the one creator, are the ones who are given the gift of light, the gift of all these like intuitive gifts and powers, right? And not everyone always does. Sometimes people cross over, but at some threshold, like you can't get closer to God and therefore have more of these powers or gifts or abilities without being in the light, right? So anyway, there's a lot of folks who have been trying to use these energies for bad intentions, try to do magic or try to do witchcraft or try to do spells or try to do energy work that would harm someone else. And that's why I don't like witchcraft, because like there's so many people out there where you can be like, oh, let me order a spell that would harm someone else. It's like, I want to be with this person. Like, what if they don't want to be with you? You're going to break their free will. There are witches who do not care, and they'll write that spell for you. There's people who would order that spell, and they don't care about other people. And that's like that's why like fundamentally you have to have the wherewithal to kind of understand other perspectives in order to have that greater power and greater light, which is wisdom and, you know, to own your personal power. Like, you become more powerful when you understand others and understand the collective and take on that energy. And if you're being self-centered and focusing on yourself, there is some sort of power to that. There is power with hatred and anger, but it's not channeled from the light. So, but it does work, but not from the light. So what is happening with that? Because I'm getting that their spells and wishes and, work is coming through. I don't like people who say, like, this doesn't exist. You just have to manifest it away. You can't think about it. Like, thinking about it gives it power. And yeah, all that's like valid, but like, can you objectively see that like there is an agenda to bring awareness to this kind of witchcraft and kind of stupefy it? I'm gonna like make it really, really dumb and really, really simplify it in a way that like people would like it, and kind of err on the side of not caution, on the side of people just using it willy-nilly, and then unknowingly, like a entryway drug, getting into darker things that they wouldn't have otherwise realized, and opening themselves and others up for that. I got that image of like concerts, when people put up concerts and there's like energy waves going through the crowd and stuff. Like, people's like, that's so silly. This is just something that happens. Like, energy is cultivated from gathering people, masses of people, especially when they're under one certain type of emotion and you got everyone kind of in a trance. It's easy to do that. And it's like, I understand you want to like wish the black magic away, but that's not possible. This exists and people need to recognize it, and we need to like kind of figure it out, because I don't care where you are on the spiritual spectrum, but like pretending something doesn't exist isn't going to make it go away. It's still going to be effective. It's like, that's why you still need to protect yourself. You still need to cleanse your home. That's why there's so many things that used to do that automatically for us, but was taken away. So it's crucial now. Even if you're very powerful, and even though you feel like you're very protected and there's so much love in your home, you still got to do it. All right. So what does Spirit have to say about that? I feel like you're getting pushed to start something solo, and you feel like you need to start it now. But it, like, in your waking world, it's going so slow, and it feels like you're not moving anywhere. Okay, so how does this energy relate to you? I feel like this is like pile one. How many piles? I'm not gonna do 6. One. Okay. I was like, I started already. I'm going to have you pick like crystals in the future to see like how this specific energy relates to you in your life. But for this witchy one, they had me go on a rant. There's some things that people just needed to be aware of and that I'm so sick of people not knowing, or ignoring, or just like pushing it off. Like, that's not part of spirituality and religion in our world. It's like, okay, well, just because you're seeing some things in a higher perspective, but not all things, like, it's time for even light workers and starseeds and spiritual folks to wake up too. Okay. That came off so rude. I did not mean that. I think I just, I've just seen so many bad things happen with black magic. Like, from childhood, I know like not to mess with that kind of stuff, and it kind of like is annoying to me. I'm just seeing like a bird perched on top of a tree there. It's just like there's just so many things that need to be uncovered and worked on, and like there's like I have like zero patience anymore, and I feel like a lot of us don't have patience for like people who can't like get with the program. Like, we have things to clear and get things to move forward from, but how can we do that if you can't acknowledge it? All right, so this goes for everyone. Like, the world is absolutely changing. It is moving towards a more like magical kind of existence, but that's like not even true. It's not even like technically magical. It's just like returning to the way that it was, which is working with nature, working with the collective energies, working with our divinity, our consciousness. Like, it's kind of like to the point now where it's like there's so many of us who are like kind of ready to get back to how things were, because this is like not it, right? We're kind of like looking at this and being like, what is this life? Like, this is absolutely not what I remember, not how I want life to be. Like, how did it get so bad, and how does this even exist when we know this is bad and most people are good or make the right choices or do the right thing or learn and grow? How is this the state of our world, right? Like, this isn't real. Like, this is just kind of like so far past what we feel is acceptable, right? In every area. Like, how long are we gonna like refuse to see that there's people who know these things about magic and how energy works, and how to move the collective energy, how to harness energy, and how to like work with nature and work with time and work with all these things. Like, how long are we going to pretend that these occult knowledges and sciences and what used to be like once truth doesn't exist? Like, how long are we going to pretend to do that? Like, how much information has to be put out on the internet in articles and talked about in conversations among so many of us? Like, how long is it going to take, right? I think someone said like the awakening is going to span over like 100 years. And I can see that. I can definitely see that. And I also got for like my life, like my work is going to be most prominent in my 50s. And that's like when it's going to start to like really take off, which is right after this Pluto in Aquarius, which kind of makes me, I'm just putting it together now. My North Node is in Aquarius. And so I know this Pluto in Aquarius is a huge time to reform my life purpose or my destiny and what I came here to do, right? My service to others, my purpose here. And I'm just realizing now, putting this together in real time, that the next 20 years is getting there, not actually being there. Oh my God. Aren't we all tired? But that's fine, because I kind of want to spend the next 20 years, like, creating my family, raising my family, creating my home. So if that is the next 20 years, I am so happy. I am ready for that moment of peace and bliss for that I worked for. And then after that, in my like crone age, I'm going to go out there and kick some butt and get some stuff done. I like that timeline. You know what? I'm going with that. Let's do that. All right. So the second energy. Okay, the second energy is not knowing which way to turn, feeling like the universe is not having you live in your path and what you deserve, and feeling like you'll play along because what else can you do right now? I feel like that kind of plays into where we left off in the last energy, which is kind of like you're not living the life that you're supposed to be living. Oh, okay. I remember what this was. There's a lot of theories about destiny stealing out there, or destiny swapping. And I know this exists because there are nefarious energies that do this, and there's people who would pay good money for this as well, and pay in not just money but in other ways, which a lot of people wouldn't be willing to do for something that requires that big a magic, sacrificing things and things like that. But there are people who are, and they're destiny swapping does exist, but I feel like it's a little bit different. For a lot of like light workers, starseeds, it feels like you have to go through a lot of experiences so you can help people who are going through that experience later on, or you can kind of figure out your sole purpose in life, and it's going to be greater since your difficulties were harder, right? But there is something about like there were so many turns that were made in your life that were I'm hearing wrong, but it's not. Like, I think you are very positive. I think most of us are very positive in the way that we like to think about our life. Like, we have to try to think positive, otherwise we'd go crazy. That's kind of the appeal of a spiritual awakening, is like your psyche breaks and you start thinking of explanations and stories and beliefs that could explain away the pain and the horror and the trauma that you've lived through, right? And I know some people like to think of it in a psychological way, but I also like to think of it like, no, there actually is a spiritual force out there, and I can prove it to myself. I don't know if I can prove it to others, but I've had too many experiences to doubt my faith. At this point, I don't doubt my faith, right? I'm knocking on wood here, so there's something like good luck, which is funny. That's like another energy, so that might relate to the last energy. I'll look back there. I'll make a note right now. Hold on. But there's something like about you're not living the life you were supposed to live. It was kind of taken from you. Oh, I got it. All right. So unfortunately, a lot of people who come here that are light workers, starseeds, spiritual, very, very spiritually linked, and have spiritual gifts, intuitive gifts, and then also are sent here for greater purposes. Your lives are often pinpointed, found, and then co-opted. So you might not know this, but you kind of probably do, because you're probably like, oh, I think I should be living this kind of life. Like, I don't know why I'm not living this kind of life, or I should be doing this or that or the other thing. And then you get your spiritual awakening. It's like, oh, maybe I have a greater purpose, but why am I still not there yet, or not doing this or that or the other thing, or like taking steps to lead there? What is going on? Where are the opportunities? Where am I, put in the hard work? I did my networking. Got the resources. What is happening? I did the work. I put it, whatever, right? Yeah. I'm sorry to say this, but we have to, us light workers, starseeds, and way showers, we have to face facts now. We have to face reality. And the reality is you've been in a bubble. I've been talking about you've been veiled so you can get your healing done. And you've been super, super, super protected from your guides, from your ancestors, from all the energies that are of light and benevolent and want to help humanity and help this dimensional world. So you can heal, because you do have the power, the strength, and you were meant to do big things. But now that has been unveiled, and you are meant to shine your light, right? And do your do what you're supposed to do in this lifetime, your purpose, your destiny, your soul mission, your work, your what you want to do, what you're meant to do, what feels right, all that kind of stuff. It's authentic. You'll feel passionate about it. Everything will come naturally and easily. And then now we're having to face reality. Light workers, starseeds, spiritual leaders. Like, this is a time we have to recognize that we were given a really difficult life, not because it was part of our destiny. We were supposed to have a very beautiful destiny filled with a lot of light and laughter and love and ease of life to bring more light into this world. But we were giving a lot of difficult situations, but still had to bring that light into the world because we were capable. On the other side, they are aware that this is going on, that like, and I'm not talking about like God level, I'm talking about like spirit guide level. Like, they're aware. Like, I'm not talking like, I don't know, 12D or whatever the frick that higher dimension is, like the highest dimension. I'm talking about like 6, 7, 8, like D kind of thing, like 8D, like the people like Arcturians and Archangel level type of energies. Like, they're aware that like that people have access to information, or nefarious forces have access to information where they can find people who have these types of destinies or have the capabilities to pull off these types of projects and these types of open up these like pathways and opportunities for humanity and for this dimension, right? And they purposely make our life difficult, and we did not deserve all of that. That's why we have good karma coming, because it's universal law. But we were actually meant for a very good, positive, easy. We work hard, and there's like a lot of creativity and growth there, but it was not meant to be torturous, traumatic, or very, very like hard times, difficult. Some of the worst experiences humanity can have thrown in, drizzled in there in your life. That wasn't meant to happen. So like you going through that, that was like you taking one for the team. Because like they knew like that was a possibility, but your life, your destiny was not supposed to be that way. One of the this just came to me, but I don't do palm reading, but like I was told that like, okay, if you are a male, if you were born a male, your right hand is more dominant, and if you were born a female, your left hand is more dominant. But of course, take it how it resonates. But your dominant that not dominant hand, but the hand that like where your where they read your life, the other hand is supposed to be your destiny. So if your palms, the lines on your palms look very, very different, that could be a clue that you were meant to have a completely different life. Look at all the X's on my lines here, and there's like barely any here. This line goes right through, and this one's like all broken up. You know? If there's like a huge, like a pretty big difference, look, that's the marriage line. Like this is like staying together forever. This is like divorce. I've been slowly like pinching it, so like stay together. But yeah, like or however, whatever method you see fit. Like for example, if you're supposed to be born one day and then you were born like the next day or something like that, like try to figure that out. Or you know, just like things like that in life, like you'll see, like, you know, you were meant for a specific type of life, and then you started living a completely different one, and you kind of like, you know, like we have such strong claircognizance. We know the life we were meant to live. We can see it. We can feel it. And we can tell, and don't be delusional here, we can tell when that's not the life we're living. We're not living that life that we're supposed to be living. And there's a huge gap between what we're destined for and what we're doing now, but we're taking one for the team. And the thing is to close the gap. There's a thing about timelines coming up in the next energy, but let me see how many piles for this. 5, 6, 6. Okay. They wanted me to do more than 6 piles. Maybe this is something I'm going to do in a separate reading. Oh, good idea. Should I do it in a separate reading? After. And then they're like, do 5? And I'm like, no. And they're like, okay, do at least 4. And I'm like, fine. So that's what I was going through my mind when I was rolling that. So if you want to pick a crystal real quick, and I'm just going to pull a card real quickly for right now, but then I'm going to probably do another reading after for like kind of like what was your destiny, and then see if you resonate with it, because it's probably going to like confirm this further, right? Because we have to kind of like, there's the collective is waking up, but we have to wake up too. We have to face reality too, you know, us folks who have been like following the truth. Like there's some like spiritual truths that like we're even missing, or we're kind of being like naive and being kind of like protected, and we had to kind of like, because we're healing such big things that like we weren't been able to handle the truth while we're healing. As much as we want the ET disclosure, yeah, people would freak the F out, and it would be bad for our kind, okay? So like sometimes we do have to take things slowly when we're healing and need to come to terms with things. Okay, so there's Ocean Jasper, the Picture Jasper, the Tiger's Eye, and the Lapis Lazuli. Take it, if you want to pause now, I'm just going to run through it right now. You're supposed to find, for the Ocean Jasper, you're supposed to come into union with your person earlier. You're supposed to come into union with your person earlier. Whether that was supposed to be like your divine counterpart you were supposed to find earlier, or the person that you're with, you're supposed to get married to them or find them earlier. That was what's supposed to happen. They were going to be a crucial part of your gaining wisdom and intellect and data. Like, you were supposed to do that sooner, and because everything was like delayed, you picking up facts and data was even like took longer because that support system, or that relationship was supposed to ground you in order for you to kind of open up your mind and your intellect and take in more information faster, and rather than having to be like, I don't have a partner, like, it kind of slowed down your intellectual growth, actually. And even though you still did it, it took longer because you're dealing with a lot of heaviness from not having a partner. Okay, the picture, Jasper. Okay. You're supposed to put love first. And that was supposed to get you a lot of money first. I'm hearing first love. Okay, so you're supposed to you're supposed to get with your first love sooner and have children and get a lot of money in order for you to fight this good fight. It's kind of like you were supposed to start a family sooner. You were supposed to start a family sooner, earlier, in order to get into your more activist or more fighting the good fight energies now. Yeah, I something about like you were supposed to you're supposed to, I'm getting your first love. It doesn't have to be the first person you ever had a relationship with or something, but like I feel like something was supposed to work out. Your first love, and you're supposed to have like kids already, and then like get a lot of money really quickly, so you can like move on to things that you want to work on, like your slow mission project. Okay, for the tiger's eye. You are supposed to leave a relationship faster. You were supposed to leave a relationship sooner when you were younger. This is a past relationship. There was a relationship in the past that you were supposed to leave sooner. I'm getting it wasn't a bad relationship. It was just kind of like it made you kind of stuck. Kind of like at some point when you were younger, or at least like I'm hearing when you still felt young or something. I feel like you were supposed to have a family with someone else, and this person prevented you from having that, or kind of delayed you from having that. Or like maybe there was like a friend and they were kind of keeping you at that location or at that workplace when you were meant to kind of find new soul family. Yeah. There's something about like someone holding you back, whether it's a relationship or like like if it's a friend or a coworker, it's someone who's like you felt so strongly connected with that like you would stay at that workplace or you would stay at that location longer because you like them. Or this relationship, it wasn't like a bad relationship. It just kind of like felt like you weren't doing what you're supposed to be doing. Like you weren't at your best, you weren't at your potential, and not everyone likes to live at their potential, but you do. And so this person, and so you kind of stayed in this relationship or stayed in that place longer than you should have. Okay, and then the lapis. You were kind of coaxed into a decision that that wasn't meant for you. I feel like there was a fork in the road, like more than a fork. There was an option of like you can go anywhere now. There's a time in your life not too long ago where you could have chosen a few different paths. And you were literally coaxed into choosing the one path that was like the worst. They're all still like kind of like okay, But I feel like you were close into the one that was like um the slowest, or like not the slowest. It's like not, it's just like the hardest or the worst. And they were all kind of decent, but like yeah, you were kind of given, you were kind of chose a path that was like more difficult, slower, took longer for things to manifest, had to go it alone longer. There was a lot of difficulty in bringing in information, bringing in clarity and the direction you should go in, because I feel like that direction was chopped off. I'm hearing chopped off. Okay, one more clarifier. Yeah, Seven of Pentacles twice here. It doesn't matter because I feel like you were gonna be slowed down anyway. But like this, it was like it kept you in perpetual waiting for things to manifest. Things weren't manifesting as fast enough. If they did, it was just like small things that kind of gave you hope that bigger things would manifest, but then it didn't. It kind of kept you in limbo. That's an interesting one. Yeah, something about like it kept feeling like this cycle was almost ending. You were kind of trapped in this like continuing this cycle. Why? This is a weird one. It is the more intuitive one. Trapped in your mind. You couldn't say anything. It was like I'm hearing Groundhog Day. Oh no, that's not good. Perpetual death. Oh my god. Yeah, death and rebirth, reliving it over and over again. It was the lure of being alone. It was a lure of not being in a relationship. It was a lure of not things not moving forward. I feel like when you were at the cusp of starting something different, you were kind of tossed back into a relationship, tossed back into a connection with someone else or other people, friends, whatever, a group of coworkers or something, just to keep you from being like, it's like you had to go through all the difficulties of being alone, where if you were just alone for like a little bit longer, you would have been pushed in this new cycle, but then someone always came along and then reset the whole thing. You had to like do that whole cycle of being alone or not connecting with the people around you, even if they were new again. And so something like that. Okay. Anyway, let's go into the next energy. 3. Okay, this one is about like the multiverse and multiple timelines. They do not exist, okay? The multiverse and multiple timelines, they are a concept that were tried, they with the dark energies, nefarious energies, they, one of the agendas was to create this narrative, this concept of a multiverse and multiple timelines, which was fascinating for scientific thinkers because it kind of allows you to think, to expand your mind, but only in the framework that they give you. So like that's why like I have such a like I've butt heads with scientific thinkers, because like they can only expand their mind in through one perspective, and they can't see everything else. I'm kind of getting like the visual of like our eyesight. Like we can only see a certain light spectrum, but there's like a huge spectrum before and after us. And so we only expand our mind in the ways that we can see. But there's a whole other spectrum out there that we can't see. And so I feel like because they have to kind of give us a little bit of truth in all their lies, in their stories, like the narrative they're trying to push through superhero movies right now, which is the multiverse and multiple timelines. it's all laid on top of us, and time doesn't exist. So everything's happening simultaneously. And they're trying to make us think otherwise. They're giving us, I was like, how would you feel if there was no clock, if there was no calendar, and if there were no seasons? It would feel like time doesn't exist. Like every day, like that's the only day. Even if there were like no night or day, like if these cycles didn't exist, wouldn't exist, right? But these are concepts that they slowly build over and over time in order for it to exist. So anyway, one of the reasons I believe this is the case, that they're trying to push for this collective manifestation, that they're pushing this idea so we manifest it for them, is so they can have little pocket worlds, or like false or temporary universes in which they can do crazy, stupid, bad things, and can have like temporary separate timelines for, not good reasons. I do believe that everything exists right now and only now, and the past, present, future can be changed at any given time. It can happen. We do it from the other side, but when we come here, we kind of forget. We're not supposed to forget. Okay. We're not supposed to forget. We're supposed to remember. We have these powers now. We have these abilities now. We are one of the strongest races in the universe, if the universe even exists, if space is that expansive, I believe everything is kind of happening at once in one area at one time, and it's just, you can play with it, like you can like kind of it's an ever expanding storyline, but from the same kind of space and time. So I think that there's a reason that they're trying to play it out and kind of for their advantage. Like they want to see which would serve their purposes more, and they try out these temporary timelines to make that work. And they create these like pocket universes where they can get away with bad things. And I think there's also like, as something can be used for good, it can also be used for bad. I think there's a lot of people who also create pocket universes or pocket worlds to kind of make sure that their minds stay safe from whatever they're doing out here in our world right now. You know what I'm saying? So they can continue doing God's work and creating and manifesting in the ways that we were meant to. But right now, all that can be managed are these temporary pockets. Temporary worlds, pockets of world, or hidden areas. Okay. So how does this affect people? How many? One. Okay. It's going to be a straight up. Yeah, because I do feel like we're all kind of moving into the direction that we need to at this time for the entire collective, and that's why I feel like there's people who've already kind of done this, but on their own individually, but there's just like more and more people doing it at this time, so it's like gaining traction. And so like some of these pocket worlds, like they're getting more full. There's more people kind of figuring out and like existing in this world, and we can manage to live in this world while still having those thoughts and manifesting in the way that they want to manifest. Like these are people who can literally, they know where the portals are. They know how to like which tree or what cave to go into to kind of go into that world and stuff like that. So there's more like they're being more open and less restrictive, and they're also coming here more because they're bridging the gap. Like these things are coming together, and it's like a yes for me. It's like these things are collapsing, and so it's not just like the false ideas and the false like narrative and storylines that are collapsing. It is literally false worlds and false timelines and all these things collapsing. Like those timelines aren't real. If you feel like, oh yeah, I must, like that whole manifestation technique that exists, like, oh, there's an infinite amount of you, and you can just like manifest by jumping onto that timeline. It's like, no, that's not how that works. Yes, see, I got 2 yes cards. These are my 2 yes cards. So there's like a definite, like, spirits, like, you're onto something. Because I'm like, am I like spewing negativity here? Am I spewing hate? Or like, am I spreading the truth? Because there's like too many people, even in the spiritual community, who are being delulu. And I'm getting like confirmations, like, yes, keep going, girl. Like, I had to have a lot of courage to do this. But like, there's like 5 people who are going to watch it. So thank you, 5 people. Yeah, it's like, you don't need to fight. You don't need to do anything. Like, I got that kind of signal recently. It's like, they're telling you have to do all these things to manifest. And like, for some people, like, some of these techniques work because to them, those manifestation techniques are easy and passive, but it's not for most people. For most people, those are active and action-oriented manifestation techniques. You're supposed to do nothing. You're supposed to do absolutely nothing. Yeah, but think, use your thoughts. So there's like there's an importance put onto the physical world, but we're not interacting with the physical world the way that we were meant to, and so they're kind of bringing it back. It's very, I can't explain it. It's kind of like you interact with the physical world with your mind first and then physically second. I don't know how to explain that. What are you talking about? What do you like? They gave me the concept, but it's so wild and out of the box for even me that I couldn't understand it. Who am I connecting with? Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be it's supposed to be instantaneously, and because we got away from this like space and time thing, like we're our belief in space and time, our what we know about space and time is so far from the truth. It is like such a sliver of the truth that that manifestation is not working. So we have to connect back to our truth of what space and time is, and that's going to help us manifest better. It should be instantaneous. We should be living in like a utopia. And this card wanted to come out. Our home. They're suggesting that you start with your home, manifesting your home. Okay. That might be a personal note for me, but yeah, just work with your mind. Okay, they're like the reason that they want you to focus on a home situation first, like kind of like a sacred sanctuary. They want you to be somewhere where you can think more, meditate more, and connect to these wild concepts, or they're wild to normies. I think they're kind of just almost out of touch for us. I feel like so many of us are so close to the truth that then we kind of give up because we have to get back to the real world and our real world responsibilities. You can fast for days. I've done it. You can fast for days and you can just sit and think and meditate and be close to nature and do nothing, lay around, sit around. And I'm not saying do this every day, all day, but like for periods of time without having the distractions of other, like your of the environment around you. And granted, some things around your environment might be good and some of your responsibilities might be actually necessities, but like I'm getting like, that's why they want you to kind of use this technique to manifest that home or that space or that sacred sanctuary, whether it's a room or a place you go to. It'd be more easier if it's some place that's like your home, because you can just get out of bed and do it. You don't have to think about what you're going to do that day, who you're going to meet, what kind of work you got to do, that project that's due, that family member you got to visit. It's just like peace. Like I'm getting like dead quiet, peace and quiet, just super quiet, just nature, just you, and you can hear your heartbeat. You can even maybe hear the earth's heartbeat. that's the kind of peace you need and sanctuary you need in order to do more of this manifestation. But they're like, focus on your home first, or set space for you first. And it should be a space that's like close to your bed. Like literally your home, or your bed, or your room, or something around that area, your backyard. Okay. And so let's look at the next energy, which is difficulty speaking out for yourself, speaking authentically, being yourself. You know, it's so funny because I kept getting this like maybe like 5, 6, 7 times. I got like, you're having a hard time speaking out, speaking authentically, like being yourself. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm speaking more authentically, being more myself, and speaking out like to anyone about it more than ever. But after doing this reading, or while I'm doing this reading, I'm realizing, oh no, I laugh right there because I'm like, oh, I guess I wasn't. This is the real me. Oh, okay. We had so many real-time realizations in this reading. No wonder they're pushing me to do it. Wow. Okay. 3. I can do 3. Okay. Let me grab our crystals. All right, so we have 3 crystals here. We have the Unakite, the Dalmatian Jasper, and the rubies and granite. Okay, so pause here if you need more time. I'm going to pull through with the messages now for the Unakite. Okay, it's so funny because a lot of these were like love-based messages. Like even like these crystals were all about like relationships. Okay, the way that you speak love. The way that you speak love. You haven't started that adventure yet. Okay. The way that you speak love. Speak about love. Speak. No. They should be no. Spiritually. Not. The way you speak about your intuitive hunches and what you intuitively know. Okay, there's something where you just kind of feel like, okay, you might have an interest in one or few things, topics, areas, fascination, interest, whatever, hobbies, and you might think like, oh, but I don't know enough about that. You do. And I don't know if you believe in past lives or if you believe in just like having the ability to just get downloads about certain things. Like you do. Like if you know all these people who like, I have a PhD and I have, I've written this many books on this, or I've done research on this for this many years, and like, like I discovered this and I invented that. Like who gives a fuck? Sorry. Like you know what you know, and you got to write it down. You got to speak about it, and you got to speak about it like you know it because you do. And whoever talks about it like in a certain way, it's like, oh well, electricity can only be done in this way, and all this. Shut up. There's a reason that so many innovative ways to look at the same problem or solution is brought up. There's so many ways to solve. Gosh, skin a cat. There's so many ways to solve a solution. There's so many ways to solve a problem. There's so many solutions that we haven't even seen because we stick to the same type of solution. And we need these like harebrained, out of the box thinkers. And this kind of correlates to something I got recently where people are going to be like thinking of like wacky ways to like solve problems, and we're gonna look at them, and these are the new people awakening who no one told them, no, you gotta do spiritual work in this way, or no, you gotta like still like work with society and societal norms. These people have no limits. They're being they're able to be more and more of their wacky self and their true self, especially in the beginning until they kind of even out. And you're going to see people have like the weirdest and craziest ways to solve not just like practical issues, but like even like psychological ones. You're going to see people like, you're going to see some crazy stuff happening. And that's because no one told them, like, they didn't have like the embarrassment that like first waivers, second waivers, and third waivers had to go through. They're doing it with the collective. They meant to do it together, right? So I'm getting, you need to practice saying your crazy harebrained ideas out there, because there's some truth to it. And maybe you don't have the whole truth, and maybe you do have the whole truth, but it's just so different, radically different from other solutions that people had, or maybe just like a version of it, maybe like a take on it that's a little bit different, but it needs to be put out there because I'm getting like variance. I'm hearing variance. What's the purpose of that? It's just kind of to get you ready, get you kind of prepared to like start thinking more. Just like kind of practice putting all your ideas out there. Isn't it such a weird thing that we have to deal with? Like we're scared of our own ideas. We're scared of what other people might think of our ideas. There are ideas, other ideas that came to us. And granted, there are some ideas that I'd rather not have if they're really dark or really, really scary, or I'm just like, who in the world thought of this idea and put it in my head? Like, right, the idea that you catch ideas, they're not of your own making. You can, I don't even believe that, like, whatever, just let the ideas flow and start moving towards the ideas that you resonate more with or like more. I'm hearing like you're channeling energies from the mental realm. I don't know what that means. I'm hearing not etheric, but mental realm. They kind of just shut me up because they're like, you don't know what you're talking about. But they're like, yeah, like there's an energy of you that's like in the mental realm, and it might not be you. It might be from other energies, but like you're the channel. That's the point. Your channel, like you are meant to be the conduit of ideas into this physical realm. Like when did that connection get stopped? Everyone is a channeler. Okay, Dalmatian. Jasper. Okay, wow. Okay, it was this Hanged Man, and the way that it came out was so crazy. It kind of pulled between, it kind of like, you know when you like take a rubber band and like take like a rock and like kind of use it as a slingshot, like slingshot. It slingshotted under the desk. Okay, and the Hangman. You've been waiting patiently. Buy the book, I'm hearing. Wow, 2 hangman. See? One's hanging the way the hangman does, and the other one's upright. So I do feel like you were kind of waiting for too long. I feel like you kind of knew at some point that you were meant to kind of bring forth a lot of, look at this, the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups, a lot of loving ideas, a lot of different types of ideas. I think what it is that a lot of folks, they, you know, you channel the energy at which your frequency is at, and if you're from a high frequency, you can still channel low frequency. You can channel for low frequency people, situations, and things, but it's like the highest and best for all, right? Whereas low frequency channels, they can only channel solutions and ideas that are low frequency as well. Does that make sense? What's the difference between these two piles then? They're asking me. Okay. I'm like, we've been using the same 2 decks for the whole thing, and now you want me to use a different deck. And I like consistency. Like, I like the visual consistency. Okay, Stork, new beginning, transformation, change, flexibility. I feel like for the Unakite pile, like you're just supposed to channel as many ideas as possible, just so you can get into that flow state again, so you can channel easily. They're having you practice channeling ideas and channeling from these energies and channeling from specific energies. I'm getting like 1 to 3 that like will be working with you specifically. And so it's easier. So when time comes and you have to help someone, or you need to work on a project, or you need to invent something, like it's easy to channel. So they're having you just practice, like get all your ideas, write it down, get a notebook. This is my favorite thing to do. I have one of these. Where is you? Obviously, I haven't used it for a second. I literally like have it right here, usually. Go. Oh, right here. Okay. I have one of these like small notebooks. I got this like idea from like a YouTube channel actually, with someone who's like, instead of bringing a phone, bring like a small notebook and like a pen or pencil, and just put that in your pocket instead of a phone, and then go out for a walk and then see what happens. And like it rewires your brain, because like having your phone on you makes you think differently. It makes you think about checking up on things. If you want to go like check out like a restaurant or a coffee shop afterwards, or is your friend there? It doesn't let you kind of open up your thinking. But yeah, I have all these like kind of inventions and like ideas, and then I date it, and then I like also write the page number. And so then like sometimes like in like the future, if I have to like think about like something specific, I might already have the channeling. I could just like ask I could use a random number generator, like page 1 through 56, and like they'll give me the page number, and then like I even have like the ideas separated. So like, oh yeah, the 1, 2, or 3, or like this date, that date, or this date, you know, like, and so I can just be like, oh, it's easy to connect with my higher mind or my higher guides or whatever, and go right to it. I've done that before, because I write down ideas, and I have like drawings sometimes, or just like ideas, or like even philosophies, or even like different like quotes, or even like whatever, like just, or experiences like written down in different notebooks. And it's just like interesting to see what you come across. Like David Wilcock used to do that. I'm not like as crazy intense as him, but there's something about like studying yourself and the things that you've channeled before that will come up. Like if you have a dream journal, there's so many times where like I wrote down a dream, and like a year later I like go back, I'm like, oh, I just had a reference to this dream, and I'll go back to that dream and see what was written, and that exact thing just happened or is happening in my life right now. And so it's like there's something about like, maybe it's a way to kind of awaken you into the higher realms, kind of out of the space-time distorted reality, the distorted space-time reality. Let's say that this is a distorted space-time reality, and we're on the verge, we're on the brink, we're on the outside of this reality, and like almost can see the other one, the true one, is the best way I can describe it. Even if it just means like it's our truth, the truth that we want to live, becoming more prominent rather than the truth of the few that I don't know, aren't from this dimension and trying to take it over. Wow, so many things. And for the Dalmatian, I got a key, answer, solution. I kept saying solution. Openness, unlocking. That's exactly the same thing as I got for the Unikite. And which way is it different? This is 17, this is 33. If that means anything to you. And the Sun card, happiness, positive outcome. I think they're just giving me the same message. Well, let's see if the Ruby has a different message. Maybe they just want to like double down. I don't know why I would go in like a knife, like double stab. Like they want to give extra clarity, like extra emphasis and importance on this specific message. And the rubies is the Hierophant, and the 10 of Pentacles, and the Queen of Pentacles, and the 2 of Pentacles. Interesting. That was here. The Queen of Pentacles and the 2 of Pentacles. Okay. Okay. All right, so there's this energy of This is legacy and long term. Okay. Yeah, so for all three of these, like, there's something coming in quickly. News, message, dog, loyal friendship. For this pile, I feel like specifically you're meant to kind of channel with someone. Luck. Okay, this is, yeah, they're telling me to go into pile 5. Okay, that's a clue. They're saying just we don't even need crystals for this, but they're just saying, like, keep bringing through the idea, however that works. If you're musically inclined, sing it out, write lyrics. If you're a poet, if you're, just write the poetry. If you're an artist or a painter or draw, like drawing, like, sketch it out. I love drawing diagrams. It's like one of the best part of going to engineering was we had like graph paper and you'd have to like draw diagrams of like the bridge or the, everything that we had to do had like a little diagram, and like that was my favorite part. Yeah, but I'm getting, just get your ideas out there, and that's gonna bring in something. Bring in a private union, someone you can brainstorm with. Yeah, that came up here, the Queen and the 2 of Pentacles. Which was like you were supposed to come into union with someone sooner, so it can help you kind of expand your mind. And so that's happening now instead. But I also get this kind of like abundance coming through too, with especially the 10 of Pentacles. Kind of like where the 9 of Pentacles. 9 of Pentacles here. Oh yeah, it's the whole thing here. Yeah, bringing in abundance, because I got happiness and I got family, and it's supposed to help expand your mind faster, better, more clear. Okay, so now we're going to move into 5. I'm just like going with the flow. If this is kind of seems all over the place, you know what? So be it. Some of my best channeling work yet. And the 5th energy, which we have for luck here, I think that's why they gave me the card first so you can see it, is something you've done recently is going to pay off big time. Luck is on your side. There's a ton of energy, and even some new spiritual friends that I made recently, this energy kept coming up for them as well. Just something about synchronicity cards kind of fell through. And something that you've already done recently, like literally after the eclipse and at the end of September. Yeah, whatever happened after the eclipse for the last week or something, like towards the end of September, you did something that's going to pay off in big time. You were attacked. Or this thing was trying to be attacked. You were attacked hard. You were attacked hard, and so the karma that's coming back is really, really strong. You know how in the beginning I was talking about the witches, but more so people who are practicing the occult arts for nefarious reasons and nefarious ways. Their karma is going to be coming back. Oh yeah, that's what they were reminding me of. Coming back in like 10 or 100-fold, because like all the karma is like I'm getting like crazy rushing through, like water breaking through a dam, like really, really crazy amount. So like it's also gonna, equal and opposite, be bringing through like a lot of ton of love for you. I'm getting this goes from October to December, so it's like gonna be like for the next like few months, it's gonna get stronger and stronger. You're gonna see that happen. You don't even have to do anything. Things are gonna come to you. I feel like it starts with one thing and then it just kind of expands. All you gotta do is think about walking away, because we talked about like how your mind is gonna start expanding, your ability to manifest, you're connecting to the higher realms, and you're gonna start seeing the tear through the reality, tear through this false, manipulated space and time reality. And so you just kind of need some space in order to do that. And I feel like this one opportunity leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. So I think even recently you've been kind of thinking about like how you're going to deal with the rest of this year and then the upcoming year, like what are your plans? And I feel like you've kind of been really, really strategizing. But I'm getting, you don't have to think about anything or do anything. Like, it's great that you have been, because you kind of like, are being realistic. But at the same time, like dealing with the reality that you had to deal with. But you weren't doing anything, like you weren't doing nothing about it. But now that you know that this is what's happening, you're gonna like, yeah, everything's gonna change for sure. You can enjoy, you can celebrate, you can have some few people coming through that can help you transition during this time. For a lot of you, that is a romantic love situation coming in first, or a teacher mentor type energy. And then comes the money. And then comes the Three of Cups and the Three of Pentacles here. Working with others, few at a time, underground, sharing ideas. That's where it starts. Ideas. This is ideas. Shift and underground. Yeah, I said that. And it starts with one thing and it leads to another and it leads to another. And these are concrete things that you can ground in. And that's why it's like, it's important you do it one thing at a time. You are going to have to leave certain soulmate connections behind. And these are soulmate connections that you currently have in order to move towards the ones that, yeah, see, that's the sadness part. To move towards the new. Okay, the thing is here, look, it's something on your side. 4, 3, 6, 6. Yeah, this is something I gotta also do in that other reading. So if you enjoyed this reading, resonated with it, look out for the other reading where I look at this energy of what you kind of missed out on, but like the good luck you're getting because of all the shit you had to deal with recently, especially like specifically much recently. In upcoming pick a card reading. And the last thing is like I did the knock on wood for 2. Yeah, okay. So, oh my god. That's why, because I had to do the luck, and then I had to do number 2 and number 5 in a separate reading together. That's what the knock on wood was for, that I said was going to be the last energy in 5, relating back to 2. You see how dang connected I am right now? That's speaking the truth. All right, beautiful soul, much love and light. Oh, and if you can, leave like maybe a comment if this resonates, because there's a part of me that still feels like, what am I channeling here? If you know, you know. Love and light.